Dan, welcome to
Hey,
People in Legal again.
thank you so much for having me.
I think last time I saw you was ILTO. What's happened since then?
A lot has happened since then. We've been doing a lot of things at NetDocuments, and we're here at Inspire in Australia, sharing it with a lot of our customers and people who are coming to NetDocuments.
So what's new?
I think a few different things. Obviously, on the AI front, we have been making huge strides in delivering enabling technologies inside the platform. And so, as an example, we have had our assistant. We've continued to expand that assistant. We've seen usage of it grow dramatically. We think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it's in the workflow. You don't have to go somewhere. Lawyers are already in NetDocuments and their documents are right there. And so it's very easy then to kind of pass those documents into the assistant, ask questions, get answers, and it's all right there. But what we've been focused on is kind of expanding that experience into new agentic tools. So one of the ones that we've just recently released is our editing tool. And that actually reaches into Microsoft Word so that you can give instructions about how you'd want to edit a document. And the assistant will come up with a set of suggestions that you can then evaluate and say, that looks great. Yeah, let's make these changes. And those appear in red line inside of Microsoft Word. So just like an associate might give a partner back those red lines to be evaluated, same thing's happening here with our assistant.
That's really interesting. Background is coming from, as a co-founder of DocsCorp and that thing originally and sort of stuff. So the whole comparison type of scenario is something I know a lot about. So you've actually embedded that within the functionality within NetDocs.
That's right. And I think that this is an area, it's a little bit different than compare, where we're not just comparing two documents, but what you can do is kind of give it a document and say, hey, this is a contract that I've worked on in the past. Let's make this the basis for editing the document I'm working on today, right? And it can evaluate some of the distinct characteristics of that contract that you might have done for a client, or you could give it a whole series of contracts, ultimately start to build out that playbook that you can run against your contracts. And I think what makes our approach unique is the way that we're able to scale that editing process. So it's not just happening in one document, one at a time, but you can actually give a set of instructions or a playbook and hit many documents at one time. And you can actually just evaluate them inside of NetDocuments. They can be versioned up, and you don't have to go into Word and make every single edit and evaluate those as well. So it's really a new way of working with your documents that hasn't been seen before.
My brain's ticking away. In a corporate counsel environment, we've got, loans contracts, other contracts as well, where this could be, if I understand right, you can actually automate a whole bunch of documents against that baseline document. So for example, these clauses might have changed against, this master.
Absolutely. That's the way we built it, is for those kinds of use cases. So again, it's not like just one-offs, but it's, I've got to edit 50 contracts. We can do that.
So in the banking and finance world, that must be quite big.
It is. Yeah. The customers who we're talking to, who are looking at this is a light bulb moment where they are thinking about how they can really recharacterize the way that they're working.
That's really smart. Very, very smart. So what else can I expect in the AI assistant?
Yeah. So one of the things that we're also working on is how to better get answers out of your repositories, out of the documents in your repository. And with that, we're leveraging a combination of what we call smart answers and semantic search. So what this allows you to do is basically ask a question and get an answer based upon your documents. The way it's worked traditionally, and the way that many systems work, is they have to kind of take the documents and do all of the kind of semantic embedding of all of that. And that can take time. And it's probably fine if you're only doing 5 or 10 or 100 documents. But when you get to the scale of the document management system, like NetDocuments, where you have 10 million, 100 million, 300 million documents, that becomes impossible. And so what we've done is we're actually doing semantic embedding across the entire repository. We've developed a proprietary technique so that now you can ask any question and you'll get an immediate answer back. So imagine you are wondering about, hey, what's the board of directors look like for this company? Rather than having to point it to a specific set of documents that you think the answer is in, it's able to go across all of NetDocuments, find the right documents that has the answer, and then construct the answer and deliver it to you right in that kind of native assistant workflow inside NetDocuments.
That tells me it's an every person solution. So pretty much anybody in a law firm could easily retrieve information from the document management system.
Yeah. That's exactly how we built it, is a kind of foundational core AI capability that we're putting into NetDocuments.
Right. And what's the take-up been like?
It's been really pretty fantastic. What we're seeing is every day we're seeing more and more assistant users hitting the assistant. We're seeing that, now we're serving tens of thousands of queries, prompts, responses, and so forth every single week. We're growing our usage base. And so that's been amazing. And I think the beauty of where we're going now with the semantic search and AI search is that it aligns with the way that lawyers are already using NetDocuments.
Yeah.
They use NetDocuments to do searches, and they have to, sometimes they'll do a search and they don't get an answer because they didn't hit that exact right set of keywords. But now with AI search and the semantic indexing, we're able to find the documents they really meant to find and serve those up to the user and get them higher quality results sooner. But they're not really having to learn about how to use AI. They're just doing the kinds of search activity that NetDocuments is known for.
So change management in this case is virtually nil.
That's right. It's really just introducing better results to the user, but it's also better results for the assistant as well. So as it's going out and trying to find that answer, it's leveraging that same semantic index that users have too.
So you must be getting lots of fan mail then.
Yeah, well, I'd say the team has done a fabulous job of engaging with customers along this journey.
Yeah.
We've done a ton of engagement. In fact, many of our customers have informed our benchmarking that we've done so that they've kind of developed those legal specific use cases that have allowed us to validate that the responses and results that we're getting from our search is exactly what they're looking for.
Amazing. And you've got a really big announcement you're making today.
That's right. So we have over at ILTA actually this year we introduced a new program called ndConnect, and that is really designed to take all of these incredible technologies that we've developed, everything from our core governance, so that we are able to audit and securely deliver content into other solutions, as well as now our semantic index. We're going to be working to make that available to third-party solutions while making sure that we're doing the things that people trust NetDocuments to do, which is to provide secure access, which is to provide traceability and auditability into what's happening in their content, so that they still have that governance happening. And that's what ndConnect is all about. So we started with two providers, Legora and Harvey. They already have the component and are integrating that right now. But we're planning to extend this program out farther into other providers. And so we introduced TR's co-counsel at our Inspire in EMEA, and here in Australia, we're introducing VLEX by Clio.
Wow.
And so we're really looking into the ecosystem. We're talking to our customers about where they would like to see their secure their content be securely made available to other solution providers, and we're seeing great success with that.
So I'm going to drill down on this, the last bit you said about Clio and Vincent. So talk me through a workflow. What does it actually mean as a lawyer? What would it actually mean to me?
Yeah, so if you think about some of the workflows that Vincent has created, they are doing things like complex deposition summaries or other types of workflows that maybe the lawyers have developed and become accustomed to. And one of the challenges is, how do I get the content that's in NetDocuments into that platform so that I can make it available as part of a workflow? And what is not great for the user, but also not great for the firm, is if the user has to download those documents to their desktop or some other location, you've lost the governance aspect, you've lost that auditability. And we built ndConnect so that right inside of the application they're working in, like Vincent, they're going to be able to say, I need to add some documents from NetDocuments into my workflow. And they're going to see a very familiar user interface to select the documents and securely transfer them into Vincent and be able to, so then you can go through that workflow. And by the way, any outputs that are generated from that will be easy to store back into NetDocument.
So really it's like a 360 workflow.
That's right.
Oh, amazing. When is that functionality available?
Yeah, so we've delivered the first components to a couple, to the ones I mentioned previously, and they're working to integrate it. We built it to be developer friendly so that it can be integrated in days or weeks instead of months or longer. And someone who's been in the legal tech space, how long these integrations can go.
Oh, yeah.
We built it so that it's very fast to implement, and we're already seeing the results of that. And we're going to continue to work with those providers in the ndConnect program to extend capabilities based upon our mutual customers' needs.
And from a buyer perspective, is there additional cost to get that functionality in place? It's all part of it. How does it all work?
Yeah, so essentially for customers who are customers of both of our solutions and they have the right licenses and so forth, it's going to work for them. So
awesome. And I guess the world of law firms and AI, are you seeing that the stuff that you're doing might reduce law firms using other external solutions or other broader solutions that aren't as narrow or aren't specific to the industry?
Yeah, so our journey always starts with the user.
Yeah.
We think about what are the things that they want to do inside the platform and how can we support those. And when you think about the solutions that we've generated to date, a lot of them have been addressing those core experiences and foundational AI capabilities. So an assistant that is right where you are
Yep.
and helping you, search like we've talked about before, but also areas that allow us to really take advantage of AI's capability to enhance the core value proposition of document management. So an example of that is our AI profiling. So profiling is one of the most valuable capabilities of a document management system because it allows you to organize the information. That helps with search, whether you're talking about AI search or just standard search, helps you filter down. It can drive workflows. It can drive retention. Profiling is essential, but if you just require the users to do it, they're prone for error. You can have, it's a lot of work. So sometimes, people don't want to go through all the steps to profile. With AI profiling in the background, we can actually classify the document.
Yep.
And based on that classification, we can extract the data points around it. So if it's a contract, what kind of contract is it? And what kind of pieces of information are there that we would capture, like the parties, the execution date, renewal date, those pieces of information. We've actually worked with experts from around the world who have worked in large law firms, building taxonomies and doing data classification. We built a taxonomy so that customers can get going really quickly with our own AI profiling.
I mean, what's really interesting to me, the function you've got gives every size of firm or department the ability to actually play in an even playing field.
That's right. We serve customers from one user all the way up to 10,000 or more. And so what we find is that no matter what the size, they're looking to leverage this kind of technology and ultimately be able to deliver better client service. That's what we're focused on, is helping those lawyers do their best work.
And what do you think, you said client service then, so from a client's standpoint, what do all these changes mean to the clients of these law firms?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we're seeing is that clients are able to work with their law firm to make it easier to pull in draft precedent specific to the kind of work that they've done in the past. So for instance, it's not just a set of contracts that maybe the law firm has done, but it's like the 10 contracts that they've done for that client that can now be used with AI to inform the contract that they're working on today. That's kind of one example that we think is really powerful. But as we go forward, we're talking to a lot of law firms who are able to automate certain processes that they've been working on for some time and that are not adding value. And that lets the law firm kind of add value in different places. But it also lets the law firm kind of check their work on the harder things too.
Yep.
These LLMs are very effective in terms of kind of more strategic thinking and those areas. And we see this assistant as being a partner to lawyers in helping them think about the case that they're doing, helping them get to ideas better. And what we can do at NetDocuments is provide the kind of context of the matter to be able to say, here's where this client is at. Here's where the kind of the documents are at. And then as you're asking the assistant, it's not pulling it from a blank slate. It's pulling it from all of that context that it has.
I mean, some of that, a lot of the information would be very useful in terms of reporting back to clients on where things are up to.
That's exactly right. Being able to go in there and say, hey, we know where you're at. If you're a partner who hasn't been working actively on the matter, but to be able to get a summary of the kind of activity that's been happening based upon the emails that are being stored in NetDocuments, the documents that your colleagues have been working on, that makes you as the partner way more informed. It lets you have a more meaningful conversation with the client and ultimately get to that better service.
I think it actually helps you, people who are in management positions in law firms, like partners, they can really understand what is the work that my team are doing.
That's exactly right.
There's numbers that can sit behind that as well. Awesome. What's in the roadmap in the future?
Yeah, so we're really excited about some of the things that we're kind of delivering here. We talked about the assistant with the editing tool. We're continuing to expand it with additional tools. So as an example, an extraction tool. If you think about, oftentimes people ask an assistant or a chatbot to extract out pieces of information. We're building a custom tool so that it's very easy to build out kind of a tabular view of that. And that's a feature that lawyers really appreciate as far as being able to work with an assistant. I think the other areas that we're focused on that are outside of AI that are really meaningful to customers are in the core workflows. I think the biggest one there is co-authoring. Lawyers are increasingly keen to start co-authoring with each other. And we're building the kind of capabilities directly with our partnership with Microsoft inside of Microsoft Word and other Office applications so that they can do that. So it's not all about AI, but what we're seeing is this kind of coming together of AI capabilities and collaboration capabilities that are really changing the way people think about the document management system.
That's really interesting, because I think to myself, like, law firms have got more propensity to have distributed teams these days in terms of where they're working from, when they're working, and things like that. You've got people doing stuff offshore and things like that as well.
That's right.
Yeah, awesome. Dan, really appreciate your time today. Thank you so much. Enjoy the wonderful food in Melbourne and that sort of stuff. And the weather's probably not so great, but I really appreciate it. And great to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks.
Yeah, awesome.